Well, we made it to 2026, and it's a great time to remind ourselves of current regulations for both recreational and commercial drone pilots here in the US. We'll be answering questions like, can you fly over 400 feet, or do you need a visual observer when flying FPV? But today, we'll learn about whether or not you can fly over people or cars, so let's get into it. Flying your drone over people or cars might seem innocent, but what feels lightweight in your hands can cause serious damage. The potential injuries and property damage is why the FAA bans sustained flights over people or vehicles. That's why you can pass over a car that happens to be driving below your drone as you fly, but you can't fly over that car as it drives down the interstate. There's a good chance that when you're flying above cars or people, nothing happens, but it only takes one incident like a bird hitting your drone or an equipment failure like a motor or propeller failing to cause a catastrophe. That being said, who can fly over people? Category 1 drones, or those weighing equal to or less than 250 grams or 0.55 pounds, can, but only if they don't have any exposed rotating parts like propellers that can cut someone. Some drones are right on that threshold when you add prop guard, so make sure to weigh your drones with something like a kitchen scale if you're not sure. Now, the FAA rules state that you can't fly over people who aren't in direct participation of the flight, so that means anyone you haven't arranged to film with, or large crowds like at concerts or sporting events. Also, just to clarify, the FAA does say that sustained flight means things like hovering over people or even circling an area, like a concert crowd, where the drone remains over the people during something like an orbit. What doesn't count as sustained flight are things like flying over someone incidentally as you're moving from one area to another. For moving vehicles, the rules are similar but a little bit different. The FAA says any sustained flight over a vehicle has to be within or over a closed or restricted access site, and the people in the vehicle have to know that a drone may be flying over them. Also, drones can fly over a vehicle as long as that flight isn't sustained over the vehicles. So in other words, incidentally flying over a car as you're moving from A to B is okay, but no hovering over a road or interstate. So next time, we'll be talking about how high you can fly, and there is a lot more to it than just a 400-foot limit. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.